affected me. Went up to see you, just like average freshman, started really going crazy, got free the parental unit, partying, everything, really just going insane. And first Saturday up there, I broke my foot playing basketball. It didn't really hold me back too much, but what it did do is it introduced this guy named Dominic into my life, who approached me one day and asked if he could pray for my foot. I thought it was kind of weird that a random guy would ask to pray for my foot, but when he finished, he started talking to me about church, and I was a little standoffish, but I agreed to go and showed up to the first church. It was kind of awkward. I didn't really know anyone. Kind of went towards the back and just was sitting there thinking to myself, what am I really doing here? I mean, I got 4 years of college, I can do all this later. And then just really started to go every week, and Dominic and I started doing a private Bible study. We started doing this for about 2 months, and then later on the 15th, we had a Bible study, just like usual. But it took a different turn. I told Dominic that I was going to give up the underage drinking and partying in order to get closer to God. And Dominic looked right at me and he said, "Tim, that's not the problem." And that really shocked me. That came as a shock. In my mind, I had to give up drinking. You're okay with God. And he continued to say to me, he said, "Yeah, the drinking, that underage partying and everything, that's a problem. But the real issue is that, Tim, you refuse to give up your life, your own free will, and become a son of the Lord." The problem was me. I was being God of my own life, making choices for myself, choosing what I do on my terms, making just overall living life on Tim's terms, and just freeing up a little space for God on the side. Dominic continued. He gave me an example. He looked at me and asked if I'd marry a wife who was only faithful 70% of the time. No, I'm not going to marry a wife. I want 100%. I don't want 70, I want 100. But then, in my mind, I realized that that's how I was with God. I don't even think I was at 70. I was maybe down in the 30s. And I just had this bar in my mind. I'd go out and just do sin, and then 1 hour a week on Sunday, I'd go to church and just feel better about myself. I went to church out of vanity. I didn't go to make a relationship with God, to set up a covenant with God. I just went out of pure making myself feel better and trying to just unwrite that sin which I'd done. There was no faith. I wasn't walking with God. I wasn't a child of God. I was barely even meeting him halfway. So Dominic left, and then at around midnight, I tried to go to bed, and I was tossing and turning. I couldn't sleep because I realized that I wasn't where I needed to be. I finally had come into the realization that I wasn't there. My life wasn't at where I needed to be. And I was just doing my own thing still. He wanted 24/7, 365, 100% of my life, and I wasn't willing to give it. And I couldn't figure out why. And I realized he laid down his son for me. He gave so much for me. And because of my sin, and I refused to give it up. And I just came into a realization at that moment in my room. For 19 years, I kept him out of my life. I got down on my knees and I just started crying and praying to the Lord. And I remember what I prayed. I was like, "Father, I am done living life for myself. I don't want you on the side anymore. I don't want you in the background anymore." I said, "Lord, I'm done with my own decisions. I'm done doing everything that I want to do." I gave him everything that night. I became his son. I gave him 100%. I gave up my future. I gave up my current plans, everything. That night of October 16th, he met me in my room, and by crucifying my own will to him, his Holy Spirit met me, and he changed me more than any person on the planet of this earth could. I'm born again now. I'm only 2 months old, and man, is it awesome. Since being reborn, all the fears I had about doing it were washed away. I had all these fears like, what about the money and friendship and all that stuff? They were just washed away instantly. Different aspects of my life began to change. Relationship with my parents changed. Relationship with my brother. How they should have been from the beginning. He gave me peace and kindness, unwavering faithfulness, so much more. He's put people in my life who I can really rely upon and trust on. He's just began to give me so much. And the best part about it is my life's finally on its proper course. Before it was Tim's course, it was my course, what I wanted to do. Go out into the world and get self-fulfillment through me. Now it's God's course. Now I'm his son. He's driving the car. And it's awesome. And the ride's been great so far. I mean, I had to make a little bit of a sacrifice and give up my own life to him, but man, has he exalted it. It's the best thing that's ever happened to me. I can't wait to see how he's going to use me, what he's going to do with my life, and I just thank him so much for what he's done. I hope that everyone today has really enjoyed my experience that I had with the Lord, and I want to thank Tim for letting me share it with you guys. If anybody has any questions or wants to talk to me after the service, feel free to. So, thank you.